The expectation is for that first round of the coronavirus vaccine to ship out of Portage and into the rest of the country. At Division and Fulton, it is a chaotic scene, to say the very least, right now. And as we continue to monitor this, hopefully things quiet down as the night unfolds here. Back to you, Leon. I'm going to keep going here a little bit further as we survey some more of the damage. I can make out that one of the vehicles says police on it, and I can see at least 4. By my count, 4. As we round this, as we round the corner here, I'm counting 4 vehicles on fire. You can't tell right now, but we are right in the middle of Michigan Avenue and Rose Street, right in the heart of downtown Kalamazoo. There's still hundreds of people out here, and they are fired up, they are angry, not happy, hoping that their voices are heard. Capitol security has been increasing every day this week, culminating in this wireframe fence spanning the perimeter of the Capitol building. And even hitting the brakes wasn't enough to prevent it from blowing right through Clyde Park and into a house. The health department still wants these restaurants to send their license renewals in. There just won't be any invoice on them. And right now we're getting our best look possible of the home where a man armed with a kitchen knife stabbed both of his parents. 1 out of every 10 people that's being tested is testing positive. We're at West Hickory Road in Delton and Berry County. I was just told by the assistant fire chief out here that there was a family of 6 that's been displaced from this home behind me. No injuries to speak of at this time. Red Cross has been contacted to help them out. This fire got started around 2:30 a.m. and it was quite a challenge for the firefighters in the intensely cold temperatures this morning. The real feel, according to my phone, dipping below 0. He was telling me that that was the biggest hurdle to overcome out here. We surveyed the first 100 people going into a couple of stores in the Grand Rapids area wearing any sort of protective face covering, and the vast majority did just that. And it's a good trend, too, because starting Monday, if you don't wear a face mask, it could end up costing you.
My thought as far as a misdemeanor, I'd have to give that more thought because that's new. It may seem a bit harsh.
We stopped by the 28th Street Target, whipped out the notepad, and of the first pool of 100 customers, 95 of them were wearing masks. At Meyer on Cascade, similar results, with 85 of 100 people wearing masks.
Not a fan.
Why is that?
Because I don't think that she should have that power. I think people should wear a mask because they think it's the right thing to do or the safe thing to do, right? Like,
you think it should be up to their discretion?
Yeah, I do.
I think it's necessary, and if, parents want to send kids back to school and we want to get the numbers down, I think we need to wear our masks, mask up.
The Michigan Retailers Association put out a statement saying, "We are frustrated that Governor Whitmer did not leave the policing to law enforcement officers. This puts retail employees in potentially dangerous situations when they're forced to confront unmasked customers."
None of us asked for this, so we'd have to work together and take care of our individuals and others and get through it. The more we help each other, the faster we'll get through it.
There are currently 5 other states with similar mask laws. Reporting in Grand Rapids, John Domol, News 8.
I got you. Is it going?
Go ahead, it's going.
These are all my people. I love everybody here. Skateboarding brings everybody together. And there's a lot of things going on that people aren't talking about that they should be talking about.
The movement sweeping the world over is now grinding and riding its way through Grand Rapids with a focus on social reform.
Keep an open mind, say hi to everybody, make a new friend. This is what this is all about. You gotta be cool with everybody and kind of make something out of nothing.
It's called Push for Change, an event that's been shuffling its way through the nation, all the way to West Michigan.
We had talks last Sunday of, I feel like we should do something to actually create some change and get a part of the movement that's happening right now, and we just pulled it all together in a week.
The underground group brought their boards to Cherry Park, raising awareness and money for organizations like the NAACP, and then skated several miles through downtown.
I mean, there's so many issues right now that affect people of color, that affect LGBT community, and that can range anywhere from natural environmental issues to actual just social issues.
You guys are banding together right now. I mean, it's bigger than people probably thought it was, the community, and you guys are standing for something that I don't think anyone could argue with.
No, they can't. And the thing is, with skateboarding, there's so many different kinds of people. You don't really look at anything else besides you skate. So like no matter what, you're gonna be friends and you're gonna come together. Especially you see all the people here. It's 1,000,000 degrees outside, and like we're here to promote something that needs to be, you know, addressed.
And West Michigan isn't the last stop for the push for change. It's just playing its part in keeping the movement rolling.
It goes to show you how strong the skate community is, especially in Grand Rapids. Like, it's super sick.
Reporting in Grand Rapids, John Domol, News 8. It's a holiday weekend, but for those living just north of Memorial Drive along Weber Road, this weekend is nothing more than a nightmare.
We have no functioning sewer, water, any utilities. I had to cut the electricity as well. So right now it's just an absolute salvage mode.
In his estimation, this couldn't be happening at a worse time as the pandemic continues to strangle the economy.
People are out of work. They don't have the financial resources to do what's next.
He's never seen flooding like this in a decade of living here, and he's still looking for answers.
I've called every authority that's out there, and I've had zero response.
The county's emergency manager told me that the local state of emergency will be extended, and more than 1,200 homes were asked to conduct self-damage assessments. Afterward, they may be eligible for a loan from the Small Business Administration.
I own everything I have. I don't have a mortgage, but now they're forcing me to get a mortgage and financially be burdened, where before we had no debt. So it's beyond catastrophic.
But he's over it and plans to bulldoze his home at his expense as he comes up with a plan for his family.
We're moving out. We have to find a new home, and we have to try to put our life back together because it's complete devastation, absolute devastation.
Reporting in North Muskegon, John Domol, News 8. Not all heroes wear capes. Some equip themselves with something a little trustier and rustier.
This is a super fancy single-speed Le Mans classic steel frame bicycle. It's crazy heavy and has one gear. So I have pedaled all over Grand Rapids, probably about 14 or 15 miles just doing deliveries in the past couple of hours.
Easiest one of the day.
Oh yeah, that's super close.
His name's Bond, James Bond, and he's just a man volunteering his afternoon to help his favorite local hot dog shop.
I reached out to her a couple days ago, asked her how business was, and you know, like a lot of folks, obviously they're really impacted by what's going on.
Crazy Charlie's had to let go of nearly all of its staff and never offered delivery until today.
I said, hey, if you ever want, you know, delivery, I would do it on my bike. And she quickly said, yeah, let's do it. So we hatched the plan literally this morning about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
It's a show of kindness with a lot more mileage than a bike ride.
I almost had tears in my eyes. I couldn't even put my contacts in because my tears kept on like filling, and I'm still very touched by it.
The community showed her love, and so she felt compelled to give it right back.
With the help of, with collaboration of Mr. Bond, is to donate all of the tips that we made today to the kids' food basket, because I'm sure their parents are probably laid off and they're impacted as well.
And at the end of all of this, Mr. Bond is hoping that his ride around town sends a message.
As this story sort of gets out there, who knows, it might inspire others to say, you know, what can they do to help friends of theirs that are in tough spots, or small businesses that they typically frequent but they haven't had a chance to. How can you get creative in helping these businesses out?
Reporting in East Grand Rapids, John Domol, News 8. So why are you out here today?
Because I want to see a fair election.
It was a group of people full of distrust. Distrust in the system, distrust in our government, but a love for sitting President Donald Trump.
I mean, we thought we came here for freedom. And now it seems it's like a Venezuela-style election.
This is what America looks like.
Tensions between opposing groups flared up at times along Allegan Street, with both sides making their political beliefs public. President-elect Joe Biden won Michigan by a difference of about 150,000 votes. And currently, there has been no solid evidence supporting the president's claims of a compromised election.
Well, maybe Trump hasn't provided the evidence. I'm not on his legal team. I couldn't tell you where his thoughts are with that. but I've seen the evidence.
That evidence, she says, coming from social media and personal friends. Moving forward here of what comes next.
What comes a recount, a fair count, okay? Every legal vote should be counted.
Michigan's House and Senate oversight committees have approved subpoenas related to the state's general election. Reporting in Lansing, John Domol, News 8. Just moving from Easttown and reopening in the Heritage Hill area, the new E.A. Brady's Meat Shop was wrought with delays because of the pandemic.
It just kind of added more steps to the process, therefore slowing it even more, but we were able to overcome it.
In order to bounce back in such an economically turbulent time, the meat shop put itself online and even has plans to get on the App Store.
It brought it up the priority list. So what was just kind of a side project became front and center.
And then there was the unforeseen payoff. With more people staying home, that means more home-cooked meals. And that's definitely proven useful for butcher shops.
I think we found as a trend leading up to this, Americans cooked fancier but less often. They would do big project meals once in a great while. This has got everybody cooking every day.
The brothers are still selling through thousands of pounds of meat, and they attribute their success in this unusual time to a usual suspect, their customers.
The interruption and then the extended nature of the interruption didn't drive them away, and that they're excited to see us back, and that even in this difficult situation, they're going out of their way to come out and support us.
Reporting in Grand Rapids, John Domol, News 8. With everything going on in the world right now, it sure would be nice to take a break from it all. And boy, have I got the perfect way to do it.
Tenet. It'll open the right doors.
I've been very interested in watching movies, and especially Tenet, since it's a Christopher Nolan movie. Oh, dude, I'm so hyped for that.
The movies are back in business, and those that came out for the first showings in more than half a year were ready.
Being able to actually sit down and watch a movie theater on a big screen, getting a good sound system in, it's absolutely insane to be able to do that again.
You'll see the pandemic protections that we've grown accustomed to, but it's what you don't see that's making a difference with improved air ventilation.
I think that, I think we're handling it as best as we can.
Enjoy your movie.
Michigan is one of the last states to reopen theaters, and because of that, it was able to see what does and doesn't work for more than 300 theater companies in the country.
This is a plan that has now been put into action in 48 states across the country, and there hasn't been a single case of spread of COVID that's been documented from a theater environment.
Open doors also means jobs, and there'll be plenty to fill as time goes on.
Initially, this opening weekend, we'll have about 200 to 250 of our employees coming back to the 6 theaters which we're able to open, and we anticipate being able to bring back several hundred additional employees in the upcoming weeks.
Depending on the type of seating in the theater, whether it's recliners or traditional seats, they'll operate at 25 to 40% capacity. But theaters are ready to start building confidence.
This upcoming season with limited capacity is going to be economically challenging, and yet we want the experience to be great, and we think that we'll emerge healthy on the other side of this if we do things right.
Reporting in Grand Rapids, John Domol, News 8. The bells at St. Peter and Paul Church toll once more.
He said, I want them fixed so they will ring at my funeral, and my job is to make sure his wishes come true, so this is just a delight.
They fell into disrepair about a year ago, and that's when her dad, Ray, gave $3,000 to his childhood church to fix them up, and they finished just in time for his send-off.
He was a tough guy. He was very sharp, paid his own bills, did crossword puzzles, did little push-ups on the floor. He's so cute. I'd come in sometimes and he's on the floor with, not push-ups, sorry, dumbbells, but he did exercise every day. That's my dad.
Ray was 98 years old, maintaining his wit and sense of humor the whole way.
Even to this day, at 98, he would go back to times and tell these Very detailed, wonderful stories. He was a good storyteller, loved his jokes. He always came up with a new one, and I said, Dad, I thought I heard all your jokes. Well, I'm saving some.
He was a World War II veteran, a Marine, serving in the Pacific Theater from 1942 until the war's end in 1945. And like so many others from the Greatest Generation, was a hero to his family.
He was just always there. You know, I mean, he was always working, but he was there. He put food on the table. He did what he needed to do, no matter how hard things were.
Ray had 8 children, living on in the memories of the 6 he leaves behind.
I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him a lot. He was just a strong, vibrant guy. For a short man, he could dawn a doorway. You know, he was quite something, really. Everybody liked him.
Now he rests in familiar company, next to his first son, wife, and parents.
I was at his knee for years and years learning his story, and he was preparing me for this the whole time. But it's no fun to be without your buddy.
Reporting in Grand Rapids, John Domol, News 8. America was about to become a world power. And this bomber played a pivotal role in the skies over Western Europe.
The targets there were manufacturing facilities and infrastructure like railways and bridges and things like that. That's what we had to do, is we had to take out those type of capabilities of the enemy in order to win the war.
And the B-17 was no luxury aircraft.
There's no pressurization, there's no heating, there's no cooling. You know, the skin is the thickness of a quarter. This is different kind of flying than what you do is, you know, when you get on a Delta airline.
Conditions were cramped, and with COVID-19 out there, the Yankee Air Museum is allowing fewer guests on flights, requires masks, and wipes every bit of the close quarters cabin.
It's just wasted space if you have it convenient and comfortable. As you can see, some of our positions in the aircract are very tight.
There we go.
You don't waste space in war machines. It can't afford it.
Each flying fortress had a crew of 10 men, and the daytime bombing raids over Germany cost many American lives.
The chances of survival were less than 50%. So you imagine going to your job every day and your chances were less than 50% you'd actually come home.
And among the crowd was a man who took those odds.
All of us had a job to do, and we did it, and we were proud of it. The experiences, they were yours, and you did the best you could with them. We had some near misses, but we survived.
He was barely 20 years old and gives all the credit to the B-17.
The plane deserves it. I'm not so sure I do, but the plane deserves it.
There were more than 12,000 B-17s built during World War II, and at the end of the day for the Yankee Air Museum, the whole point of this experience is to keep the memories of the Greatest Generation alive.
Whatever sparks some inspiration in a young child or an adult today, you know, the bottom line's right there. We hope we inspire people.
Reporting in Muskegon, John Domol, News 8.